Hello people, I just had a zinger burger. Now, you must be thinking of why I'm telling you that. That's because we are at the overview of this lecture in which we'll be talking about the digestive system and how it develops from the digestive primordium and forms the adult digestive system. This section has been divided into three subsections in which we'll talk about the primitive gut, how the primitive gut is formed from a yolk sac and how various derivatives are derived from it. Then we'll be going to the anterior and posterior intestinal portals. We'll see what they are and how they are formed and what is the clinical significance of these portals. And finally, we'll talk about the parts of the guts and their derivatives. We'll see how the gut tube, the primitive gut tube, is divided into three subsections: the foregut, the midgut, and the hindgut, and what adult derivatives are formed from these sections. Now, moving on. First of all, we have the primitive gut. Before getting into it, I must explain that you should keep an understanding of what is going on in the lecture along with this presentation, because it's important that you stay within the presentation at the time. And when we'll talk about the diagrams of the presentation, then you'll be easily able to understand what exactly is going on. So the primitive gut, first of all, the primitive gut, it is formed by the incorporation of the umbilical vesicle of the yolk sac. So what happens? I'll just go to the diagram first, and then I'll explain this later. So this is the primitive gut. Now, how is the primitive gut actually formed? It absorbs a portion of the yolk sac. This portion of the yolk sac is actually absorbed within this primitive gut. This causes elongation of the primitive gut. Initially, it was a small tube. Now, this tube has started to elongate. Why has it elongated? Because it has absorbed the umbilical primordium or the digestive primordium that was formed within this yolk sac. This is the portion of the yolk sac. When this is absorbed within this primitive gut, it divides the primitive gut into a foregut, a midgut, and hindgut. Now, how does this division take place? The section of the gut that is in communication with this yolk sac is known as the midgut. The section proximal to the midgut, proximal is before the caudal segment. The section before this midgut is the foregut. It lies cranially, and the section that lies caudally is known as the hindgut. It lies away from the midgut. So the gut is separated or divided into three sections on the basis of communication with the yolk sac. How did this communication with the yolk sac develop? By absorption of a large portion of the yolk sac into the primitive gut. Now, going back to the first slide, this primitive gut is formed by the absorption of the umbilical vesicle of the yolk sac within the embryonic disc or the primitive gut. It results in the formation of three segments, which are the foregut, the hindgut, and the midgut. This foregut, midgut, and hindgut, this differentiation is according to the communication with the yolk sac. The section that is communicating with the yolk sac is known as the midgut. The cranial section, the section that is cranial to the midgut, is known as the foregut, and the section that is caudal to the midgut is known as the hindgut. So, moving on, the cranial end of the foregut is separated from the stomodium by buccopharyngeal membrane. So, if you see in this figure, this is the stomodium in gray, and it is separated from the foregut by buccopharyngeal membrane. Stomodium is the site of formation of the future oral cavity or mouth. So, now, initially, this mouth is being separated from the foregut by the buccopharyngeal membrane. Now, the caudal end of the hindgut, this is the caudal end of the hindgut, is separated from the proctodium. This is the proctodium in gray by cloacal membrane. This here is the cloacal membrane that is separating this proctodeum from the caudal end of the hindgut. Proctodeum is the future site of the anal canal, and at this moment the hindgut is being separated from the anal canal by this cloacal membrane. So at a later stage, both these buccopharyngeal membranes and the cloacal membranes, they rupture, and there is a continuation of the foregut with the stomodium, of the hindgut with the proctodeum, and as a result a continuous tube that is open at both the ends is formed. Alright, so moving on, now we'll see how the various components of the gut are formed. So the endoderm of the primitive gut, this endoderm, this mucosa and submucosa of the primitive gut forms the endothelial lining of all parts of the gastrointestinal tract. So endoderm forms the endoderm of the adult gastrointestinal tract. Now this happens all around the gastrointestinal tract except for stomodium, where the ectoderm forms the endoderm, and also the distal part of the anal canal, which I mentioned earlier, was formed by the proctodeum, and in this section also the ectoderm is responsible for forming the endoderm. Now the muscular, the connective tissue, and the other layers are derived from the splanchno-pleuric mesoderm. This is the splanchno-pleuric mesoderm. This is responsible for the formation of the muscular, the connective tissue, and other layers. So the gut is divided into 4 separate layers. The innermost layer is mucosa. This is the mucosa which is thrown into folds and help in absorption of various contents within the gut. Below the mucosa is submucosa, which is rich in connective tissue and supports this mucosa. Then we have the muscular layer. Muscular layer is responsible for contractions within the gut, known as the peristalsis. And finally, we have a thin pleural layer, a thin layer of epithelial tissue, which is known as the serosa. The muscular coat, the muscular layer, and the serosa are, they originate from the splanchno-pleuric mesoderm, and the mucosa and submucosa, they originate for endoderm, except for in the region of mouth, where the ectoderm is the ectoderm of stomodium is responsible for the formation of endoderm, and also in the region of distal part of the anal canal, where the ectoderm of proctodeum is responsible for the formation of adult endoderm. So moving on, now we'll see how the vascular supply develops within the developing gut. So this midline artery is the dorsal aorta, the biggest vessel in the human body. It gives off a series of branches. Here you can see a series of branches are being given off. These branches are known as the vitelline duct. These are present within the midgut region, and they tend to run towards the yolk sac. Initially, these branches are paired, but eventually most of these branches are absorbed back and only 3 remain. So these 3 then form the adult circulatory branches that supply blood to the foregut, midgut, and hindgut. So we have 3 different branches. For the foregut we have celiac trunk. For the midgut we have the superior mesenteric artery, and for the hindgut we have the inferior mesenteric artery. Important point is that all of these are branches of the abdominal aorta, the descending abdominal aorta. They are direct branches and are very rich in blood. So talking about the anterior and the posterior intestinal portal. So we talked about it before. This is the midgut section. This section is the midgut, and it's called midgut because it is in open communication with the yolk sac. So the communication between the midgut and the foregut here, this portion is known as the anterior intestinal portal. The communication between the midgut and the hindgut, this region, this is known as the posterior intestinal portal. Here you can see the junction between the foregut and midgut, the anterior intestinal portal. the junction between the midgut and the hindgut, the posterior intestinal portal. So now we'll see what adult derivatives are formed from various parts of the gut. So we have foregut first. It forms, so the foregut forms the upper part of the gastrointestinal tract. This includes the floor of the mouth, the tongue, then the pharynx, then the derivatives of the pharyngeal pouches, then we have the thyroid, then we have the esophagus, then we have the respiratory system. Respiratory system develops from the respiratory diverticulum that is formed in the ventral part of this developing esophagus. Then the stomach, and finally the proximal or the upper half of the duodenum. So all of these are formed by the foregut in an adult human. Now moving on to the midgut derivatives. Midgut forms the middle portion of the gastrointestinal tract. Now this includes the liver, the pancreas, the extrahepatic biliary system, the distal or the lower half of the duodenum, the jejunum, the ileum, then we have cecum and appendix, the ascending colon, and finally the right 2/3 or the proximal 2/3 of the transverse colon. Now moving on, the hindgut. Hindgut forms the terminal portion of the gastrointestinal tract. This includes the left 1/3 or the distal 1/3 of the transverse colon. Then we have the descending colon. Then we have the sigmoid colon. Then we have rectum, the upper part of anal canal. So these are the derivatives which are formed by the various sections of the gut. Now we'll see this in the figure. So this in orange is the foregut. This foregut is forming the abdominal part of the esophagus, then the stomach and the upper half of the duodenum. Then this in green is the midgut. This is the anterior intestinal portal, the communication or the junction between the foregut and the midgut. Now the midgut is forming the distal portion of the duodenum, the jejunum, the ileum, all of this is ileum. Then we have the cecum and the appendix, the ascending colon, and the right 2/3 or the proximal 2/3 of the transverse colon. Then this is the hindgut in pink. This is the posterior intestinal portal, that is the communication between the hindgut and the midgut. And here we can see this hindgut is forming the terminal portion or the distal 1/3 of this transverse colon, this descending colon, then the sigmoid colon, rectum, and the upper half of the anal canal. So this was all about the derivatives that were formed from the various sections of the respiratory of the digestive tract. So this is all about this section. In this section we talked about various components being formed in the various derivatives of the foregut, midgut and hindgut. We saw how ectoderm and other muscular and connective tissue components were formed by various components within the embryo. It is a very easy topic. I hope you understood it. For further sections, keep watching sqadia.com.